Today I'd like to talk about Sirius and Orion. Uh, basically, uh, I like Orion better because Orion is pretty tanky. 300 armor, 50% damage reduction built in, quite a bit of health, lower shields. So he's already kind of a tank. Passively, swapping between them gives you more efficiency. For the next two casts, when you're below 50 energy, Sirius and Orion steal energy from each other. This pretty much prevents you from this cost 50, that's cost 50, and that one's 15. So it prevents you from getting locked into a particular warframe when you get stuck or energy drain. So this ability here, you tap it, you do slash damage to the enemies in a particular radius. The angle stays the same. The defense reduction goes up to 100%. Basically, I just want to 100% reduce their shields and their armor with one hit. It's really nice. Next one, Astral Shell. Basically, this one's kind of interesting. I haven't fully understood this one yet, but it seemed to give me like an extra health gate of some sort. It draws the enemy fire. Looks pretty nice. More survivability. This one here is crowd control. Scoop up all the enemies that are overguarded, pick them up, get them out of your way, stop them from attacking. And then this one, switch forms and do some flying and screen damage. This is actually the one I'd want to get rid of, but because when you hold it down, you switch forms. This whole warframe is about switching forms to the other character and vice versa. So this one seemed very melee based because of the fact that, go back to right, we can slash them and we can remove all their armor and their shields, but we have to be super close to them, 8 meters or closer, basically. And on Sirius, we've got a good amount of health, a good amount of shields, hardly no armor, kind of like Mag here. So they could benefit from one armor shard, bringing them up to 50% damage reduction for this character. But in order to do that, they're going to have to go through a ton of health and a ton of shields. So if you were to put something like Prime Vigor, let's just say, the enemies would have to tear all these shields off in order to damage the health. So that's where it makes me think an armor shard would be okay, but it might be a waste. Because you're going to be flipping. While you are in one form, your brother character is indestructible. As seen here, they're not going to be able to take damage. Okay. And so, energy 250. Basically, what I've done is I've taken it and I have made Sirius the one that I really don't plan on playing the most. I do plan on playing both, but this one not as much. I replaced the number 2 ability because instead of just going, oh, we're going to hit the enemy and do some fire damage. Yay! They took some fire damage. Well, my gun can do way more damage than this. I don't even know what the purpose of this one is. Why should this be wasted? The only thing about it is it's cheap, and when you're switching forms, you're building up your power window here. These powers get filled up. When it's maximally filled, your 4th ability is going to do some major damage. So, sure. And then the number 2 ability, tap it, costs 50 energy. You do 50 heat damage. It lasts for a good amount of time. It has a close radius and a certain amount of status chance. Okay, so we're doing 500 damage. And level cap, I know level cap is not the most best way to look at it, but I do look at it that way. In level cap enemies, What is 500 damage going to do? Next, I want to look at the third power. Okay, now we're getting this. We're getting somewhere. Tap it. Plus 50 energy. Lasts for a certain amount of duration. It sticks to a particular area. Not. It doesn't follow your warframe around. It sticks to an area, and that area, everyone in that warframe in that area gets a certain amount of healing and damage reduction while in the area. Kind of like Folly. It's stuck in that area. Only one at a time. So, not bad. I'd like to be able to cast it when I'm near a teammate who's downed and revive them instantly once every 60 seconds. So that's not bad at all. And then the fourth ability is, hey, we're going to switch forms, or hey, we're going to go in the air and start doing our thing. This and the other one on Orion are the same thing. One thing to look at is that second ability that makes a lot of noise. This thing, I don't like it. It makes a lot of noise. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It's kind of useless in my opinion. It doesn't slow enemies down. What does it do? It doesn't do anything. So we're going to give it something. We're going to make it Eclipse. And we're going to take the Eclipse and give it the total Eclipse. The augment. While active, allies within 15 meters benefit from Eclipse. So we have more range on here. Enemies or allies within 38 seconds, 75% damage reduction, 21 meters, and your brother character is going to follow you around. So basically, your brother character is going to keep you with damage reduction to your shields and your health. So that's going to be amazing. A power donation. So while I am in my Orion form, the red character, the other form, the green form here, Sirius, is going to give us the damage reduction and in the area, more damage reduction and ability strength, even more ability strength. And if I happen to actually do some fire damage, it'll be applied twice. The status percentage on it is actually not bad. So also, whenever I am in Orion's form, the red one, whenever I get a status on me, I just switch forms. Do some things with this green character, and then when things get tough again, to switch over to Orion and keep on going. Arcane Aegis, whenever my shield, so now I've got tons of shields. Shield is damaged, start recharging the shields. Because I want those shields to start being recharged when I switch back. I want them switched back, and I want them full and ready to go. Arcane Concentration, because these abilities are going to be having a short duration. So basically, duration is important on this frame, even though it doesn't seem like it here. We got continuity, and we're going to have damage reduction is 62%. That's actually and so okay, with Orion, pretty much have the same kind of thing, but I got 3 Umbral mods. Range. We want this to go far to more damage reduction. Getting damage reduction from 2 different sources. We're getting it from the armor, 73% here. We're going. Sorry, we're also getting it from Sirius, 75% damage reduction. And also we're getting it from Sirius here, Plus we're getting another 30% ability strength. So right now, even though we're at 177 status chance and 88% defense reduction, we're going to get that 30% ability strength, bringing us to that ability to use this. Now, some people might say, well, why don't we just use power donation on both? What happens is the game picks one. It recognizes you've got power donation on both frames. We're only going to pick one. And that will be the one on your main character, which is Sirius. Even though Orion is my main one. Orion is my main character, but if I use this as my main character, you can always change it at the relay behind or in front of Hun Hao on the other side of that wall. The Stalker's there. And so if I make Orion my main frame, if I won't be able to helmet the Sirius. I can't. But if I do flip to Sirius and then switch back, these abilities will be normalized. But the game will remember this being here if you happen to switch back to Sirius being your main. So I have to make Sirius my main and Orion, since I'm not changing any abilities, as my not main. So, and I have rapid resilience here, so I can go back and forth. If I could do anything, I would love to get more range on Sirius so that this would go further and all that, but it's okay. And that this eclipse would hit a bigger area. So let's see how this works. I've got cast speed on as a shard, and I've got equilibrium effect going on, just a cheap one, just to keep things going. Another thing to keep note of is that I have a mechanical pet here with seismic bond, so it's essentially like having a streamline on my character. So I'm capped at 175% efficiency. So keeping that efficiency up. I have a pet and he's doing viral magnetic radiation electricity. Nice. What was that ribbon? This status chance of multi-shot. Okay. So let's start up. Summon some enemies here. I am currently on Sirius, even though the red is what I want. So tap 2, tap 3, hold down 1. 1 is going to be our ability to switch forms. We're not going to use any other ability to switch forms other than 1. 3, 2, and keep 2 and 3 going on all the frames. So 3, 2, change forms, 1, 3, and so the 2 and 3 on both forms, try and keep them full at all times. That's pretty much it. I'd like actually some more duration. So a little bit more. So, armor stripping. It's obvious if we're armor stripping the enemies with Orion, using that power there. That means if we're armor stripping them, then all we need is a viral and damage. That's it. So let's go back in. Tap, tap, switch forms with 1, crowd control 2, And we can melee. So pretty much pick any weapon you want. We want to make Orion, since Orion is going to be our main, even though Sirius is at the top, considered the primary, and we're getting that status cleansing over time, which is nice. Adaptation, you could be using Rolling Guard, but your character's not in its main form. You're not in any particular form for very too long, so that's good. Arcane Concentration on ability cast, more duration for the next 3 seconds on any spell cast within that 3 seconds. So cast an ability, and then, so let's say we cast this, and then that one will be more duration, that one will be more duration. So very nice. It can refresh. So Arcane Battery, since we have more armor, that armor is turned over into energy, saving us a spot here in the mods configuration. Orion can't get knocked down, but Sirius doesn't have it. I have Coaction Drift, which is very useful on both of these frames, but I don't want to get knocked down as he. Okay, so now let's take a look. So use any weapon you want, pretty much. That defense reduction. You could say, well, why don't I just use Nyx? Or Mag, someone who can armor strip Frost. And you can, but that's not just the strength of this character. You have the defense reduction, and you have hard to kill, you've got crowd control, and then when you cast Celestial Clash while you're in the air, using it, you're indestructible. See, my health just turned gray, so you're indestructible. There's a lot of good benefits to it. I don't know where the brother character went at this moment. But if there's anything going on as far as the enemies, we want them to be armor stripped. There we go. You could replace the number 4 if you wanted to, if you got good enough with it. Oh, you can't. Darn it. Tesla coils would be so good. That's right. I was going to say you could replace it, but it'd be hard to swap and use this when you absolutely need to. But overall, a lot of cleansing going on, a lot of survivability. I still think 1 armor shard would be okay. That would cause this character to get Arcane Battery just a little more energy, giving both of them more energy when Sirius runs out of energy. 250. Yeah, I don't have much on there for energy. And, yeah, it's very nice. So, let's give it a try somewhere. And see what we can get. Any weapon you want. I'm trying to think of a weapon here that could take down acolytes as a primary. The secondary I'm using the Furus, because when you're tanking, sometimes you run low on health, and lifesteal, Winds of Purity, it comes in really handy, and it's just a good weapon all around. So the primary one would have to be some corrosive, basically to take care of acolytes. So no beam weapons. No hit scan weapons. Anything that shoots an actual projectile. If you wanted to, you could also go primary and secondary. Use primary dexterity and secondary dexterity. Prime the enemies using like Ceto Prime, but then you need something to help you take care of acolytes. But a lot of options. If you use something like electricity, just pure electricity, you're going to have to strip the enemy's armor before you do anything. So I wouldn't place all my my hope into all one area. Kuva Sobek's going to be nice. But yeah, let's just do it. Just go. One of the Kuva Fortress is higher level. As far as what school to choose from for your operator, it doesn't really matter. Whatever's comfortable for you.
Scans show Grenier are harvesting Kuva nearby. Set off the alarms to draw them out, then steal their Kuva catalysts. Predictable. As expected, Grenier have shut down the environmental systems, sending modified life support capsules. Use these to sustain your environment or attach Kuva catalysts to begin harvesting.
See what I mean? If I could see where I'm going, that'd be even better. If you basically don't want to be able to be killed, I suppose Roar would be fine too, but I like to be overly protected. Just keeping 2 and 3 on both of them fully maxed out. Okay. I'm gonna hit escape. Mission progress. And that's pretty much how it goes. So it depends on what you're trying to do. You could cast Roar as Orion or Sirius, and then that'll give it to Orion, but Roar is not recastable. So just something to keep in mind. But I hope that helps. Like I said, just 2-3, keep those timers rolling. And if you need more duration, then maybe a shard. Maybe one armor shard, just to get Orion's armor up a little bit more. But I don't think it's going to be required for this build. So many different ideas. I hope it helps with coming across different ideas. But have a good one.